In the days following marriage, there was a weird sort of hold that tradition had on us. Custom dominated sense, and culture preceded reason. One of those traditions was that the bride had to be fetched to the groom's village at midnight. Always midnight. Folks said it was to guard her modesty, to make sure no stranger saw her face before she moved into her new home. But I always figured it was a matter of fear, superstition masquerading as ritual. No one challenged it. No one dared. That night, as with so many nights before me, I was one of the men who were called to escort the bride. I was not her brother, but I was a cousin, close enough by blood to accept the honor and heavy enough with obligation to not refuse. Two of us walked behind the bullock cart, sticks in hand, keeping watch under the moon. The cart creaked like an old bone with every turn of the wheel. The bride was concealed inside, wrapped in silence, shrouded behind the folds of cloth and tradition. The village was hours away from here, and the road twisted through empty fields and dense, whispering forests. The air was chill, but had a stillness that made even the insects reluctant. All that could be heard was the gentle crunch of our footsteps on the ground, the oxen's sigh, and occasionally the ghostly hoot of an owl in the distance. As we strolled past a small pond, a dark sheet of still water under the stars, I saw something scurrying around its rim. I looked into the blackness. It had looked like a fox, a thin and small one, its nose twitching as it dug in the rubbish left by travelers. Maybe it was its wild movements that caught my eye. Maybe it was the way it stared at me when it saw me looking. Half jestingly, I said, "Why look there when you can come ride with us? We have plenty to fill you up for days in our village." I laughed softly to myself. My partner shot me a sidelong look but remained silent. At the time, I felt surprisingly proud of my joke, as though I had uttered something witty into the darkness. We proceeded further, but the night wasn't forgetful. 10 minutes or so after that, I heard the faintest noise behind us, a shuffle or a dragging foot. I turned, and there it was, the fox. Only, it wasn't quite the same. It was bigger now, its fur wet or perhaps gone in patches. It trailed behind at a distance, keeping just far enough back to be just on the edge of sight in the dark. I laughed nervously and thumped my stick on the ground. "Shoo, go eat somewhere else," I said, trying to be bolder than I felt. The creature hesitated, tilted its head, but didn't flee. My cousin turned around and saw it too. "Foxes don't follow people like that," he complained. "Maybe it's sick," I replied. "I don't believe it." I kept looking over my shoulder more than I looked where I was going. The beast trailed behind, steady and slow, as if it were somehow held to us. Each time I glanced back at it, it looked less fox. Its gait was unnatural, too smooth, too silent. Its eyes had lost that animal glint and now simply reflected nothing. No fear, no curiosity, nothing. Then came the moment that changed everything. I turned once again, and what I saw rooted me to the ground. It was not a fox. It was not even a beast. It was on 4 legs, but its body was naked, smooth and long. Holes pockmarked its skin, as if decay had taken hold years ago. but it still had a purposeful movement. It was the length of a calf, contorted and curved in shape, but appallingly alive. It looked at me as if it had heard the joke I had told and had accepted the invitation. I remained there. My heart was beating so fast that I was afraid to wake the bride. My cousin bent forward and whispered, "What? What is that?" But I couldn't answer. I knew, in my very bones, that we could not bring it into the village. So I did the best I could think to do. I approached it slowly, on foot, shaking with every step. I placed my stick in front of me as a sign of surrender, then went down on my knees. "Please," I whispered, "I've done something wrong. There is nothing there for you where we're going. I've made a false statement. Don't follow us. Please." The creature didn't move. It stared at me, empty eyes unblinking. For a moment, I was convinced it was about to pounce. But then, with a slight shift of its odd head, or perhaps a readjustment of its odd body, it wheeled westward and left. No noise, no sign, silent and away. It disappeared into the darkness, consumed by night. I just stood there for what seemed like forever before I could walk again. My cousin and I never said a word to one another as we walked. We did not even glance to see if the beast would return. We did not care. 1 week later, word came from the west. Village after village. Sick. People dying in scores. Some said it was malaria. Others said it was a curse. I remember the holes on that creature's skin, the way it walked, the silence it carried with it. I remembered what I had said, what I had invited. Was it me? I kept asking myself over and over. Did I unleash something? The shame clung to me like dust, heavy and smothering. I starved for days. I could not sleep without seeing its face, or what amounted to one. Each evening, I caught myself gazing out to the west, half hoping to see its shape materialize on the horizon, coming back to claim the rest of what I had vowed. Years went by, but the sensation never faded. The bride and groom went on with their lives, and other people quickly forgot that evening. But I did not. I could not. Certain errors diminish with the passing of time, but some cast a shadow. I had laughed in the darkness, and something had listened. Something that did not laugh. And now, even years later, I find myself wondering, was that thing the disease carrier? A ghost? A demon? Or was it something created by guilt, born from a coincidence so terrible it could not be overlooked? I don't know. All I know is this: some invitations are not meant to be spoken, and if they've done so, they cannot be taken back anymore.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. A quick shout out to my patrons: Old Penguin, Rinku Star, Melissa Perez, Icy Narrates, Seven Cities Journalist, Cupcake Hips, Eric Cifuentes, Alonso, Austin My Love, Ellie Hutmeyer, Jesse Hartley, Lawrence Wallen, Mr. Sankofa, and William Hartley. I always try to link a different charity in the description, so go ahead and check that out. I'm also going to start having more things on my Patreon soon, so keep your eyes peeled. And as always, I'd love to know how I can be praying for you, so go ahead and drop a comment and let me know how I can do that. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video.